Pooh Shiesty, once a rising star in the rap game, now finds himself on the wrong side of the law. In 2022, the Memphis rapper was sentenced to years behind bars for his involvement in a shooting on Bay Harbor Island caught live on camera. While behind bars, fans have been anxiously anticipating the return of their favorite rapper. However, with what's happening to Pooh Shiesty behind bars, we may not be seeing him for a very long time. Keep watching to uncover the truth behind Pooh Shiesty's situation. Life behind bars. Before the walls of a cell confined him, Pooh Shiesty's ascent in the rap game was nothing short of spectacular. Emerging from the streets of Memphis, Tennessee, Pooh Shiesty, also known as Lontrell Daniel Williams Jr., captured the attention of the hip-hop world with his gritty lyrics and undeniable flow. His breakthrough came with the release of the single Back in Blood, catapulting him to the forefront of the music scene. As his star rose, so did his following, with fans hanging onto every verse and beat. But as the spotlight grew brighter, so did the scrutiny, and it wasn't long before Pooh Shiesty's offstage antics began to overshadow his musical achievements. In the latter half of 2020, the rapper found himself in a precarious situation. On a day that would mark the beginning of a series of legal battles, Pooh Shiesty was involved in a shooting on Bay Harbor Island, an event that would send ripples through his life and career. Pooh Shiesty and two others drove to a hotel to buy marijuana and a pair of high-end sneakers from two individuals. According to one victim, while inside Shiesty's car, two men got out of another vehicle and approached the car with guns. In a terrifying turn of events, Shiesty allegedly ordered the victim to exit the vehicle, only for the situation to escalate tragically as the victim was struck by a gunshot to the buttocks while complying with that command. The second victim, caught in the crossfire, recounted hearing the sound of gunshots before succumbing to the ground in agony. In the aftermath of the chaos, Shiesty allegedly pointed an assault rifle at the second victim and said, "Don't try it, before driving away. According to the police report, surveillance footage captured a chaotic scene involving luxury vehicles like a McLaren sports car, a Mercedes-Benz, and a Maybach, accompanied by individuals wielding firearms, fitting the description of Pooh Shiesty's associates. The incident, captured on surveillance footage, showed a McLaren sports car, a Mercedes-Benz, and a Maybach, along with men brandishing firearms, which matched the description of Pooh Shiesty's entourage. Despite fleeing the scene in the McLaren, Shiesty left behind a telling piece of evidence, a Louis Vuitton bag stuffed with cash. Subsequent investigation delved into Shiesty's social media presence, uncovering incriminating photos featuring the McLaren, the cash-filled bag, and even a $100 bill with a serial number matching those found at the scene. Following his arrest, Pooh Shiesty found himself entangled in a complex legal battle that would test the limits of his burgeoning career. Charged with aggravated battery with a deadly weapon, the Memphis rapper was thrust from the stage to the stand, facing the possibility of severe penalties under the law. The gravity of the situation was not lost on Pooh Shiesty or his supporters. The rapper's legal team fought tirelessly to negotiate terms that could lead to a more lenient sentence. Plea deals were discussed, and strategies were devised to mitigate the impact of the charges on Pooh Shiesty's future. Throughout the legal battles, Pooh Shiesty's fans rallied behind him, with social media campaigns calling for his release and fair treatment. The hashtag #FreePoohShiesty became a rallying cry, highlighting the broader conversation about the criminal justice system's treatment of artists whose work reflects the harsh realities of their upbringing. Despite the support, the legal system continued its course. In a courtroom drama that unfolded in 2022, Pooh Shiesty received a sobering verdict. The 22-year-old Memphis native was sentenced to 5 years and 3 months in prison for his involvement in a gun conspiracy case. Despite the seriousness of the sentence, Shiesty reportedly felt a bit better about the court proceedings. His lawyer, Bradford Cohen, was happy with how things went, saying that while nobody wants to go to jail, Shiesty was glad the judge listened to their side. The sentence handed down to Pooh Shiesty was a moment of reckoning. The court ordered the rapper to serve a prison term, the length of which reflected the gravity of the charges against him, but also considered his plea and the potential for rehabilitation. The sentence was a stark reminder of the thin line between fame and infamy, and the very real consequences of life imitating art. Since his incarceration, Pooh Shiesty's life has undergone a transformation that is as profound as it is punitive. The confines of the Turner Guilford Knight Correctional Center in Florida have become his new domain, a stark contrast to the stages and studios where he once thrived. Behind bars, the rapper has been forced to adapt to a new reality, one that is governed by strict routines and regulations, far removed from the freedom and praise he once enjoyed. Despite the limitations of his environment, Pooh Shiesty has not been severed from the outside world entirely. Recently, Shiesty posted something on on Instagram that got a lot of attention. It wasn't just some regular pictures, it was a message, a statement from inside the prison walls. In the post, Shiesty appeared alongside two fellow inmates, but it wasn't the picture that caught everyone's attention. It was his words. "I represent the ones ain't never fold, I smash on rats that told known for pushing a hard line, ain't never went, won't never go, baby graveyard behind my name, the whole Memphis know. Yeah, he might was chopper gang, but he won't never CMO," he boldly declared. Shiesty's message is all about loyalty to the streets, never turning on your crew, and always standing your ground. He made it crystal clear that he doesn't tolerate those who break the rules and snitch on others, even from behind bars. His words conveyed strength and resilience. The picture he posted was also saying a lot. It showed one of the guys with a rat's face, like he's calling him out for being a snitch. It was a strong message against people who betray their friends. The post was a flex of defiance, with Shiesty sporting a black watch, a symbol of the time he now served, but also of the time he still commanded. His presence on social media, despite his physical absence from the free world, was a powerful reminder of his influence and the respect he commanded. The reaction from his peers and fans was immediate and fervent. Big 30, Wallow, and a legion of friends and supporters flooded the comment section with messages of solidarity and calls for Shiesty's freedom. Fans, too, engaged with the post, some humorously noting that they could hear Shiesty's distinctive voice in the caption, a sign of his indelible impact on his audience. The post was like Shiesty saying, "I'm still here and I'm still in charge." Even though he's stuck in jail, he's still making his voice heard and showing he's not someone to mess with. The post also served as a reminder of Shiesty's earlier declarations of wealth and success, even from behind bars. In a previous update, he boasted of his financial achievements, claiming that his millions were still in double digits, even while he was in jail. "I still remain untouched. Millions still in double digits. Tell Google fix my net worth. We can verify that right now." Pooh Shiesty's criminal history. The shooting on Bay Harbor Island served as a catalyst for a series of escalating legal entanglements. In the following months, Pooh Shiesty's name would surface in connection with other criminal investigations. The spotlight was now on him, not just as a rising star in the music industry, but as a person of interest in the eyes of law enforcement. The rapper's social media posts, often depicting a lavish lifestyle and a penchant for flaunting wealth and weapons, did little to dissuade the growing attention from authorities. The situation reached a boiling point on June 8, 2021. Pooh Shiesty was performing at the King of Diamonds strip club in Miami during the Memorial Day weekend when an altercation broke out. Amid the chaos, money was reportedly stolen from the rapper, leading to a heated confrontation. Shots were fired, and in the pandemonium, a security guard was hit in the leg. The incident at the club was captured on video, and once again, Pooh Shiesty was identified as a key figure in the altercation. Witnesses claimed to have seen the rapper with a firearm, and the security guard's statement to the police implicated Pooh Shiesty in the shooting. The evidence was stacking up, and the narrative of a rapper who lived by the gun was becoming more than just lyrical expression. The mounting evidence from the King of Diamonds incident, combined with the ongoing investigation into the Bay Harbor Island shooting, painted a grim picture for the rapper. Pooh Shiesty's lyrics about living a life filled with guns, gangs, and violence were now being scrutinized not just by fans, but by federal prosecutors. On June 9th, 2021, the situation came to a head as Pooh Shiesty surrendered himself to authorities, confronting charges linked to the King of Diamonds shooting incident. Despite the victim's retraction, Williams found himself incarcerated without bail. Subsequently, on June 29th, he faced indictment for the Bay Harbor Islands robbery. Then on July 8th, a federal judge ruled for him to remain detained without bond, awaiting trial. It was following these events that he received a sentence of 5 years behind bars. The journey to stardom in the rap industry is fraught with both triumphs and trials. For many artists, their lyrical narratives serve as mirrors reflecting the environments that shape them. Environments often characterized by poverty, violence, and perpetual encounters with the law. And Pooh Shiesty isn't the only rapper currently facing such challenges. Rappers like Young Thug, YNW Melly, and Tay Kays have found themselves in the grips of the justice system. Young Thug, a rapper whose unique style and influence have permeated the music industry, now faces his most formidable opponent yet, the full might of the law. On May 9th, 2022, the Atlanta-based artist was swept up in a maelstrom of legal troubles when he, along with 25 other individuals associated with the Young Slime life, was arrested on charges that read like a script from a gritty crime drama. The indictment, a staggering 56 counts, accused them of a litany of crimes including murder, armed robbery, and participation in criminal street gang activity. The cornerstone of the prosecution's case is the Racketeer Influenced and Corrupt Organizations Act, commonly known as RICO, a statute originally designed to dismantle organized crime syndicates. The implications are severe, painting young Thug as a ringleader in a violent street gang that has allegedly left a trail of chaos in its wake. Among the most harrowing accusations is the claim that Thug rented a car subsequently used in the 2015 murder of Donovan Thomas Jr., a moment that sent ripples of shock through the community. As the trial unfolds, the courtroom becomes a battleground where the narratives of young Thug's music and alleged criminal actions collide. Prosecutors portray him as a mastermind who used his music and label as a front for nefarious activities. In stark contrast, fans and supporters see a different story, one of a cultural icon whose lyrics and persona are being weaponized against him. The evidence presented is a complex tapestry with prosecutors pointing to lyrics, social media posts, just like they did Pooh Shiesty. The defense, however, argues for the artistic merit of these works, claiming they are protected under the First Amendment and are a reflection of the artist's creativity, not a blueprint for criminal enterprise. Currently, young Thug is behind bars as the trial unfolds, with each passing day unveiling new revelations. The weight of 8 counts of violating the RICO Act hangs over him, casting a shadow over his voice and potentially spelling the demise of his career. YNW Melly is also a bit similar. In February 2019, YNW Melly faced 2 counts of first-degree murder, alleging his involvement in the deaths of his close friends, Anthony YNW Sack Chaser Williams and Christopher YNW Juvie Thomas Jr. The story that the prosecution weaves is one of cold calculation and ruthless execution. They allege that on October 26, 2018, Melly, with the aid of another associate, Cortland Henry, known as YNW Bortland, staged a gruesome scene to resemble a drive-by shooting, all to cover up the calculated murder of Williams and Thomas. The evidence, they claim, points to Melly as the trigger man in this twisted plot, a claim that has sent shockwaves through the hip-hop community and beyond. The case against Melly has been marred by twists and turns, with the initial trial ending in a mistrial, a rare occurrence that only adds to the enigmatic nature of the case. The jury, after extensive deliberation, found themselves at an impasse, unable to reach a unanimous verdict. This deadlock has set the stage for a retrial scheduled to begin on March 5th, 2023, leaving the public and fans in a state of suspense. The courtroom has become a theater where the drama of YNW Melly's life plays out. Prosecutors paint a picture of a man whose art imitates life, where the violent lyrics of his songs are not just expressions of creativity, but reflections of his reality. The defense, on the other hand, argues for the innocence of their client, suggesting that the evidence is circumstantial and that Melly's persona as a rapper should not be conflated with his character as a person. As the retrial looms, the stakes could not be higher. Melly faces the prospect of life imprisonment, or worse, the death penalty, a sentence that would extinguish the young artist's life and career in the most final of ways. The trial in January 2024 was indefinitely postponed following a judge's decision to exclude a promotional video depicting Melly's life from the evidence. This move led prosecutors to file an appeal, further delaying the proceedings. Another rapper who is currently in jail is Tay K. Tay K's journey into the criminal justice system began on June 30th, 2017, but the seeds of his fate were sown long before. The young rapper, who once stood on the cusp of viral fame, found himself embroiled in a series of events that would not only halt his ascent to stardom, but would also redefine his life in the most tragic of ways. The incident in question dates back to 2016, when a robbery in Mansfield, Texas led to the death of 21-year-old Ethan Walker. Tay K's involvement in the crime, according to the prosecution, was undeniable, and his subsequent actions only served to compound the gravity of his situation. In a twist that seems ripped from a Hollywood script, Tay K went on the run from the police, a desperate attempt to evade capture that would inspire his viral song, The Race. The track, released while he was a fugitive, became a sensation, but its lyrics, which brazenly taunted law enforcement, would later haunt him in court. Tay K was sentenced on July 23, 2019 to 55 years in prison for the 2016 robbery and murder of 21-year-old Ethan Walker. The cumulative effect was a stark reminder that Tay K, the artist, could not outrun Tamor McIntyre, the accused. The courtroom was was a crucible where the persona of Tay-K, with his swagger and bravado, was stripped away, revealing a teenager facing the stark reality of his actions. The trial was a spectacle, with every detail scrutinized, every testimony weighed for its truth. The verdict, when it came, was a sobering conclusion to a saga that had captivated and horrified in equal measure. But all these artists share common threads. They have been shaped by their harsh environments and are speculated to have ties to various gangs. Pooh Shiesty gang affiliations. From the heart of Memphis, Pooh Shiesty came up in the tough Cane Creek apartments on the south side. His world was heavily influenced by gang culture, a reality shared by many in the city. In Memphis, there are over 100 gangs with 13,000 members, mostly in high-crime black neighborhoods like the one Pooh called home. Gang culture in Memphis, Tennessee is a complex and deeply entrenched phenomenon that has been a significant aspect of the city's social fabric for decades. Memphis has a long history of gang activity, dating back to the mid-20th century, and it has evolved over time to reflect the changing dynamics of urban life, poverty, and crime. The presence of gangs in Memphis is influenced by various factors, including poverty, racial segregation, and the availability of illicit. Many of the city's gangs are concentrated in predominantly low-income African-American neighborhoods, where residents face systemic challenges such as limited access to education, employment opportunities, and community resources. These conditions create an environment ripe for gang recruitment and activity. The city's gang scene is a melting pot of diversity, with each group boasting its own story, leadership, and territory. Among the notable factions are the Vice Lords, tracing their origins to 1950s Chicago, notorious for drug trafficking and other illicit dealings. Similarly, the Gangster Disciples, hailing from the same Windy City, have left their mark on Memphis with involvement in various criminal enterprises. The Crips, originating from Los Angeles, have carved out their presence in Memphis, renowned for their involvement in trade, robbery, and other felonies. In opposition, the Bloods, arch rivals of the Crips, have their foothold in Memphis, engaging in similar illicit endeavors. Further splinter factions like the Grape Street Watts Crips and Gangster Disciples 74 add layers to Memphis's gang landscape, each contributing to the city's complex underworld. Pooh's journey is the product of the harsh realities faced by many South Side residents. Born into a family with ties to Memphis rap royalty through his father, Mob Boss, Pooh's journey reflects the harsh realities of life in the South Side. Raised amidst the sound of gunshots and the struggle for respect, he learned early on that survival meant navigating a world where reputation held more weight than money. Growing up under the influence of his father, Mob Boss, a respected figure in both Memphis rap and the streets, Pooh Shiesty experienced the highs and lows of both worlds from an early age. Mob Boss's juggling act between music and street life added depth to Pooh's upbringing, casting a complex shadow over his formative years. And when Mob Boss faced incarceration, it only deepened Pooh's understanding of the harsh realities of the world he was navigating. Many people have speculated that Pooh Shiesty might be part of either the Bloods or the Crips gangs in Memphis, considering his background and criminal record. But he's not the only rapper to face rumors about gang affiliations. Rapper Tay-K, for instance, also has been linked to gang affiliation. Just like Shiesty, Tay-K was born into a reality far removed from childhood innocence. Growing up in Long Beach, California, exposed him to a life heavily influenced by the environment around him. Long Beach, known for its history of gang violence, was a place where children learned the rules of survival before learning mathematics. The environment in which Tay-K grew up was one where the Crips gang held significant sway. The streets were not just pathways from one place to another. They were the battlegrounds of identity, power, and survival. The Crips, a gang with roots stretching back to the late 1960s, had become a dominant force in the area, and their influence permeated every aspect of community life. Tay-K's family life was a reflection of the tumultuous world outside. His father, a figure known in the streets of Compton, had his own brush with death in a drive-by shooting that left his best friend dead and him riddled with bullets. This event was a stark reminder of the fragility of life in the gang-ridden neighborhood. Tay-K's mother, battling her own challenges, including mental health issues and run-ins with the law, was unable to provide a stable home. As a result, Tay-K and his siblings were thrust into the foster care system, a journey that would further expose them to the harsh realities of life. The instability of his home life and the absence of parental guidance left Tay-K vulnerable to the influences of the streets. The allure of the gang lifestyle, with its promises of brotherhood, protection, and a sense of belonging, was hard to resist for a young boy searching for direction. The Crips gang, with its deep roots in the community, became a surrogate family to many youths like Tay-K, offering a distorted sense of security in a world where violence was the norm. As Tay-K grew older, his connection to the Crips gang deepened. His music, which he began creating in his early teens, reflected the gritty reality of his upbringing. The lyrics were laced with references to gang life, echoing the experiences and stories that were part of his daily existence. His songs became anthems for those who lived the same realities, resonating with the raw truth of life on the streets. Tay-K's affiliation with the Crips was not just a matter of identity, it was a survival strategy. In neighborhoods where gang rivalries dictated the rules of engagement, not aligning with a gang could be more dangerous than joining one. The gang provided a network of connection, a sense of purpose, and a way to navigate the complex social hierarchy of the streets. The young rapper's life took a dark turn when he became embroiled in criminal activities that mirrored the violent themes of his music. His involvement in a series of crimes, including the fatal home invasion that led him to jail, is the tragic culmination of the environmental factors that had shaped his life. The streets that had raised him had also led him down a path of no return. And the same goes for YNW Melly. Before the world knew him as YNW Melly, Jamel Maurice Demons was just another kid growing up in the rough patches of Gifford, Florida. Born on May 1st, 1999, Melly's childhood was anything but ordinary. Raised by a single mother, Jamie Demons King, who was just 14 years old at the time of his birth, Melly's environment was steeped in hardship from the start. His mother's struggle to provide for basic necessities set the backdrop for a life that would soon intertwine with the street's unforgiving reality. Melly's narrative took a darker turn when he joined the Bloods gang at a young age. The Bloods, a gang known for its violent reputation and distinctive red colors, became a part of Melly's identity, a fact that he never shied away from in his music or public life. His affiliation with the gang was more than just a badge of honor. It was a survival mechanism, a way to navigate the perilous landscape of his upbringing. As Melly stepped into his teenage years, his life was punctuated by a series of run-ins with the law. At the tender age of 15, he was arrested for shooting at 3 students near Vero Beach High School. This incident led to his conviction on charges of aggravated battery, discharging a firearm in public, and 2 counts of aggravated assault. Melly served a year in juvenile detention, a stint that would only be the beginning of his legal troubles. Despite these challenges, Melly found solace in music. He began posting his songs on SoundCloud, pouring his lived experiences into his lyric. His music was raw, unfiltered, and it resonated with listeners who found truth in his tales of struggle and survival. Melly's talent was undeniable, and it wasn't long before he started gaining traction in the hip-hop community. The streets that raised Melly were never far from his mind, as evidenced by his music and public persona. His gang affiliation was a recurring theme, a thread that ran through his narrative, both enhancing his street credibility and foreshadowing the legal battles that lay ahead. Melly's connection to the Bloods was more than just an anecdote. It was a lived experience that shaped his worldview and, by extension, his artistry. His affiliation with the Bloods gang was a double-edged sword, lending authenticity to his music while also casting a long shadow over his career. Rapper Young Thug also has a similar story. His early life was marked by his involvement in local gangs, which had a profound impact on his upbringing and subsequent journey in the music industry. Growing up in the crime-ridden neighborhoods of Atlanta, Georgia, Young Thug was exposed to violence and criminal activities from a young age. The streets became his playground, and he quickly became entangled in the dangerous world of gang life. As a teenager, Young Thug found himself drawn to the allure of the streets. The sense of belonging that came with being part of a gang provided him with a sense of identity and purpose. However, it also exposed him to a world filled with violence, drugs, and constant danger. The influence of the gang lifestyle began to shape Young Thug's behavior and mindset. He adopted a tough exterior, adopting the street persona that would later become a part of his public image. The experiences he had during this time would leave an indelible mark on his music and personal life. Young Thug is rumored to be the founder of the criminal street gang known as YSL, or Young Slime Life, which reportedly emerged in Atlanta back in 2012. Speculation suggests that this gang is affiliated with the Bloods. Being associated with this gang has led Young Thug into the midst of various conflicts, exposing him to shocking acts of violence like shootings and stabbings, which have unfortunately become a part of his daily reality. This constant exposure to violence has deeply impacted Young Thug's mindset, shaping his perspective on the world and influencing the themes he explores in his music. The harsh realities of street life serve as the backdrop for his lyrics, where he aims to express the pain, struggle, and resilience of those facing similar circumstances. However, it's not just the violence that has left its mark on Young Thug's life. The gang lifestyle has also introduced him to a world of drugs and illegal activities, leading him to become involved in drug trafficking and leveraging his connections within the gang to distribute narcotic, the reason he is currently in jail. Pooh Shiesty's journey, along with those of rappers like Young Thug, YNW Melly, and Tay-K, highlights the harsh realities faced by many young talents. Born into environments rife with adversity, they navigated a path where fame and infamy intertwine. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed watching this video, click on one of the boxes playing on your screen to watch more similar content.